Now that you have your test printout, what you're going to want to do is put creases in here to help you fold it everywhere where there's a fold. So one of the best tools for that, it's called a bone folder. It's in the old days it used to be made out of bone, but now it's basically plastic. I use a cheese spreader, works just as good. The right kind of butter knife could work, but ideally what you're looking for is a tool that is flat but doesn't come to a point where it would cut into the paper. And then you're just going to line your ruler up so that you're actually on what is right now the black line from the printout. And everywhere where there are folds, you're just going to go ahead and make that. So that includes both of these ends. Also, there's a fold right here on the lid. And normally I would really take my time and make sure that I'm exactly on that black line. You continue that, so there's the 1, 2, 3, 4 more here. And then after you do all of those, then you're just gonna put your ruler on the outskirts of this and start trimming. So you wanna be very careful that you're right on the line, and then you're just gonna go ahead and start making your cuts. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video now and do the remaining cuts and fold marks and then come back to you. I want to just repeat that you want to make all your scores first because they're much more difficult to make after you cut. And you can see if you look at my scrap here that the bleed areas were appropriate. You can see that the ink bled onto the page just like we would expect. And then here we have the bleeds going into the flaps and into the glue area. Now what I'll do is I'll work with these. I like to turn the ruler upside down for this. You just have to make sure it's really clean. And then you go to where your score is, which the second time you do this, you're not gonna see this black line. So you'll have to hold the paper to the light, and the thicker the paper you have, the better for seeing that. But you'll just do this a couple times with the help of the ruler. And you just really want to take your time, keep everything clean, and then eventually you'll be able to fold that a couple times without the help of the ruler. So now I'm going to repeat that process for every one of these and every one of these. Pause the video and then we'll come back. Okay, so as you can see the way this is sitting here, each one of these folds has been folded first with the help of the ruler, then back with the help of the ruler, and then probably 1 or 2 more times each way just by hand to get everything to work good. Now, at this point, you're ready to construct this. If it's just your first time around, maybe you just want to use double-sided tape just to test it out. But obviously, if this is going to be something that you would show in your portfolio, you want it to be put together just the same feel like this one was. So you're going to need the practice anyway before you get to the thicker, better paper. So if you were using a spray mount, you would want to put scrap paper under here, maybe a big section of newspaper. Do that outside, of course. Put a paper along here, and then you would just spray in here. Be really careful to keep everything clean, and then you'd start to put it together. The repositionable mount that I showed in those earlier videos is usually the way to go here, because you just have a sticker here and it's a little bit cleaner. But you're just going to go through, make sure that this goes underneath, and if you feel like it's too big, test it before you put the glue on, of course. Maybe you'd want to cut a little bit off of this, but in this case it looks like it would work pretty good. So that would get glued up, and then whether both of these flaps are supposed to open or not would depend on what's going in the package. So if, say, this one was supposed to be sealed, you'd put a little bit of glue, either type, on there, put that together, and then most likely you would have the one flap that would remain where you could put the thing back in and close it up. And so the only thing I would probably do differently with this right now, just based on the way that this is coming together is I'd make these a little bit longer so that it would stay in there better for the photo shoot. You see if I squeeze it a little bit, that top piece comes out. But now our task is going to be, you would refine your graphics, of course, make sure everything looks good. But now what we want to do is make this so that the only thing on this copy is the graphics, no black lines. But we still need to figure out how we're going to fold it and everything. So what we actually do, and I'll show you this in Illustrator, is we're going to print out two different things and register them together. One's just going to have the black lines on it, and the other is just going to have the graphics. We're going to put them together, we're going to put the ruler on, we're going to score through so that we can see it, and then we're going to go to just our graphics and put that together.